Hello, I am PopRocks, and this is the first addition to my character concept series. In this series, we're going to cover concepts that either I've made up on my own or off of like fan art, concept art for old heroes, etc. This episode will cover D.Mon, a tank concept. She is one of the Mecha Squad members alongside Diva and other lore members like Overlord and Casino, who are also very popular for concepts, which I also may make a concept for them, but we'll see. But anyway, getting into this, first we'll begin with the goals of this concept. Now, the goals for this D.Mon tank concept is to have a closer range tank, keep the Mecha Squad member feel, but also make her different from Diva. The reason I want to keep her a closer range tank in this concept is based on the artwork that I'll put up now, which shows D.Mon with a sword and a shield instead of like Diva with a fusion cannons and stuff like that. HP wise, I think D.Mon should be roughly the same as Diva, maybe slightly less health but more armor. So her overall might be a little less than Diva, but effective HP will be more, since she seems like a more close range brawler, as to Diva, who's more of the air support slash can go in and do damage when needed. For her passives, obviously, D.Mon will have the tank passive, but I'm going to give her another passive called Last Resort. Basically, upon D.Mon dying, instead of exiting her mech, kinda like Diva does, her mech will explode in a radius from 1 to 3 meters, doing 200 to 50 damage. So if you're right on top of her when she dies, you will receive 200 damage when she explodes. But if you're up to 3 meters away from her, you will receive 50 damage, and then outside of that 3 meters, you will receive no damage. Now, I didn't put this in the slide, but I do want it to have like a casting time of maybe 1.5 seconds. So that way there is a sign of, hey, D.Mon's exploding, back up. So that way you will be punished for being too aggressive and not paying attention to her at all. D.Mon's primary fire is called Fusion Blade. I want it to be pretty similar to Reinhardt. I say it has more damage here, but I think considering I made it more effective against shield health heroes, since more and more heroes are coming out with shield rather than armor or overhealth abilities, so that way she can just be more effective against some heroes. Plus, I think it just adds depth to how you counter swap, because while against Diva, you might counter swap to like a Symmetra or a Zarya, against D.Mon, you don't want to do that. She'll just do more damage to you. So I may actually lower the damage of her primary closer to Reinhardt's, since she does have this 20% increase against shield heroes, but that would be if it were to ever actually be implemented into the game. Next is her secondary fire fusion shield. I want it to have 1000 HP, regenerate when it's not in use at 200 HP per second after 1.5 seconds. The destruction of the shield will put it on a 4-second cooldown, and it's roughly 6 meters. So it has less HP than Reinhardt's shield, is considerably smaller, but it does regenerate much quicker than Reinhardt's shield. So Reinhardt still has a place in holding down the front line, while D.Mon is more of a, oh, I can hold the front line, or I can go be an off tank like a Roadhog might versus a Reinhardt. D.Mon will also have the boosters ability. It's literally the exact same as Diva's, but D.Mon can hold up her shield while boosting, or she can use her primary sword while boosting, but she cannot do both at the same time. I think this will just let it be like, oh, I don't want to play Diva because, oh, I don't like micro missiles, or she's just too much of a, oh, I'm going to shoot you while I'm flying. But I think having D.Mon come in with a shield and then swap to her sword against Safara would be much more intimidating, in my opinion, than Diva. I did not give D.Mon an ability 2 because I do think heroes now are too overkitted, and that applies to my concepts as well. I think it's okay to have heroes like Venture or like this D.Mon concept where you have your secondary fire, your primary fire, and an ability and an ultimate. And a passive. So you don't need your second ability if you also have like a passive, an ultimate, all of that. If you have everything, you can afford to not have 2 abilities. You can just have 1 if your secondary fire does something. Finally, D.Mon's ultimate, Nuclear Overdrive. First thing that happens is her last resort passive is almost doubled in size, going from 1 to 3 meters in range to 2 to 5 meters in range, being the same damage. Next, her fusion shield is transformed into a second fusion blade, so she becomes a dual bladed tank. And then she has 20% damage reduction and a 10% movement speed increase, which will stack with her booster's speed increase, which will make her a lot more threatening to flyers and backline heroes who think they're safe from her, since now she doesn't have a shield. I've always struggled with making ultimates, and I feel like a lot of us have. I think this is one of my better stimulating ultimates where it just makes her better at what she does, except now it makes her much more aggressive. There is no, oh, I'm going to sit with my team with my damage reduction and movement speed and kite around shielding my teammates. No, you're going to go in full dive and start killing everything. If they're dead, you don't need protection. With that, this concludes my D.Mon tank concept video, and I think this is going to be one of my better concepts for some time until I can work at the kinks of some other ones. I will say I do also have a Vishkar tank concept on the way, and I'm currently working on a DPS or support concept, though I'm not sure which one I'm going for as of now. With that, I'll catch you on the flip side. Pop Rocks out.